Hey guys, I'm Miss K. I'm an English teacher by day, and by night I read a heck of a lot of books, so I started a YouTube channel to share my thoughts and opinions with you all after I finished reading the books. Today's book of choice is our finale in the Four Horsemen series by Laura Thalassa. This is Death, the fourth and final horseman. We have read pestilence, war, famine, and at the end of famine, the line was, "It's time to finish this." Now we have the finale. This is 600 pages of death, the last book in the Four Horsemen series. So death, Thanatos, has come to the earth. He has awoken from his slumber, and he is the last horseman of the apocalypse. He is here to spread death. He doesn't want anything to do with human life. He doesn't spend an enormous amount of time here before he starts his carnage. He just snaps his fingers and an entire city is gone. That's what happens with Lazarus. Now, Lazarus is a girl who was found as a baby by her mother when pestilence first came to town. She was found by her mother. Her mother was scavenging around, walked into somebody's house, and Lazarus had somehow miraculously survived messianic fever and was sitting there as a baby in her high chair crying with her dead mother and father around her. So she is picked up by this other woman who becomes her mother and is raised in Temple, Georgia. She cannot die, ladies and gentlemen. Lazarus is called Lazarus for a reason. If you're not familiar with Lazarus' story in the Bible, Jesus heals Lazarus and he rises from the dead. A totally new man, totally fine, lives a normal life afterwards. Well, this woman, her name is Lazarus for that same reason. She cannot die. Does she get sick? Yes. Does she feel death whenever her neck gets snapped, for example, which happens several times in this book? Yes. But it only takes her a few hours for everything to straighten itself out, and then she miraculously rises again. So Lazarus cannot die, and death is instantly hooked by this woman. Of course, why wouldn't he be? Because she cannot die. She cannot die, and he doesn't know why. So throughout the first, I'm going to say, dozen chapters or so, they play a game of cat and mouse as they chase each other. Sometimes death chases Lazarus, sometimes Lazarus chases death throughout the entire United States of America. And it's a matter of they're trying to kill each other, essentially. But at the same time, they're also finding out each other's strengths and weaknesses and getting to know one another every time they stop and have an interaction. Well, at some point, Lazarus finds another baby who has miraculously survived death's influence. Death snapped his fingers in a small town and everyone in that town dropped dead, like just gone. She hears a crying as she's running through this town, running away from death. She hears crying and finds baby Ben in his crib with his dead mother and father in the next room. So she takes in Ben and kind of raises him as her own. She stops chasing death and becomes the same woman that her mother was to her. She becomes a mother, and this hit me in the mom feels. I have 2 little kids. This hit me in the mom feels. It's something that I cannot describe to you, in that you put down whatever life you had and suddenly you are now mom, forever and totally, completely mom. So she's raising baby Ben in this small town, middle of nowhere, isolated from death for as long as she can until Ben gets sick. And this far into the horsemen's apocalypse, the horsemen stay on earth, modern medicine is now gone. Modern medicine is a thing of the past, and now pretty much when infants and young children get sick, they tend to die from that. And it is through the eyes of Ben that Lazarus and death find one another again. Now, baby Ben survives because Lazarus goes and begs for the help of death's other brothers. Famine, war, and pestilence are hunting down death. They do not want him here. They are convinced he is going to end the world as it is, and they cannot have that for themselves and their families. So she begs for the help of the other brothers. In return, they'll keep Ben safe and healthy, but she must kill the horsemen. Now, life and death are one and the same. Lazarus is the equivalency of life. Thanatos is the equivalency of death. Lazarus and death begin to take their journey together throughout the United States. They're heading westward. And they start to realize that Lazarus actually has meaning in death's life, and death has meaning in Lazarus's life. Lazarus is the physical manifestation of life itself, whereas Thanatos is, of course, death. The thing about life and death is that logically, you cannot have one exist without the other. Where there is life, there must also be death, and where there is death, there was once life. The two are locked in eternal embrace, so much so that death actually has a tattoo of their spiritual embodiments on his chest. Life and death locked forever in a deadly metaphysical embrace. So when Judgment Day happens, and it happens in Los Angeles, California, of course. When Judgment Day happens, the other brothers have come to Los Angeles to kill death. Lazarus is kind of caught in the middle because she realizes the only way to end this is she must die in order for death to cease as well. She actually impales herself on death's sword because death needs to understand that without her, without life and the life around him, he can't do his job. He can't go on. And so what happens is death realizes that even if he and Lazarus were to live forever in this desolate place, there would be no meaning because life is communal. Life is not meant to be lived alone. Life is meant to be surrounded by people and family and friends that you actually care about. That's what famine, war, and pestilence were fighting for. That's why they put down their immortality. And so death reaches out beyond the veil and brings Lazarus back from the dead. And in so doing, he chooses a mortal life. His wings are clipped, they are gone, his immortality is gone. He has judged humanity and found them worthy of life because of the care they show towards one another. And so now he and Lazarus and the other brothers reunite with all of their families. And the ending for this book is something that you would find in a fairy tale. And I'm actually going to read a little piece of it out of the epilogue. This is death talking. This is Thanatos. And this is Thanatos as he's on his deathbed many, many years later. And so he says, there is an inherent magic to life, a magic not even the afterlife can give. That's why creation exists at all. It's why humans who balance on the edge of good and evil are as they are. And so he realizes that humans and life itself are worthy of existence. So this is the end of the Four Horsemen series. 28 years in total of the Horsemen's existence on Earth. And at the last chapter, a street light flickers back on, and humanity is once again pushed forward into the 21st century so that life can continue on as it always has. That being said, ladies and gentlemen, this series shook me to the core because I love it when authors play around with biblical storytelling. I love it when they put their own spin on the apocalypse or Noah's Ark, the crucifixion. I love it when they do that and they give us a fantastical interpretation of their world, their view on the Bible, and their view on theology. So what would I give Death? Solid 9 out of 10. The epic finale and the Thanatos' view on life is so profound that I don't think I'm gonna come across another one quite like it anytime soon. So let me know what you thought about Death in the comments below. Let me know what you thought about the Four Horsemen series in the comments below. If you like this video, make sure you subscribe to the channel and hit the little notification bell to get notified whenever I post a new video or a new short or I've uploaded new content. Until next time, folks, happy reading. Everybody, there's a lot of